When we're navigating grief, there can be some times when it feels like people have stopped caring. And that can be really scary when we're trying to figure out what our next step is going to be and just survive our loss. And so let's walk together, and I'll share with you some ways that you can approach these particular scenarios so that you have some clarity about how you're going to move forward. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm Eric, and it's my goal with these videos to share everything that I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of a loved one. If this grief tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future. So be sure to save this video to watch later on. Today's question comes from Kathy, and she asked me, why does it seem like people have stopped caring? And I really do appreciate this question, Kathy, and I get it. I remember about 2 weeks after I lost Zoe, after all the services were all done, my house began to empty out, and it got down to the point where everyone went back to their life. And here I am standing in my living room, not really sure about what to do next. And just the silence was absolutely deafening. And I did have that same feeling like, well, maybe people just don't care anymore. Like they've done their thing. They've helped me out for a couple of weeks, but that's it. That's all I get in terms of support. And it really hurt, and I really felt alone. But the good news is you're not alone, because in any of these scenarios that I'm about to share with you, there are some really good approaches to take. And I've got some notes here, so I'll be looking down, but here's the 3 reasons why people may stop caring about your grief, especially in the early days and weeks. So the first one is that they may have some sort of grief fatigue going on. And that really means that they're really not sure how to continue to support you, which can be scary because all they see is you crying and struggling with trying to, deal with your grief. And so they may not, they also may believe that they've done enough for you already. Again, people kind of leave after 2 weeks. It's like, okay, buddy, you're on your own. I don't feel like that's the actual reason that they're going back to their life. It's that they have other responsibilities, but they may feel like they've done enough for you. Now, there probably will be some, hopefully some that stick around and actually will stay with you until you tell them to go home or that you're good. And hopefully, if you're watching this video, you have some people in your life that have done that for you and are doing that for you now. Also may feel like there's a little bit of like an emotional withdrawal from what you're going through. And I get that as well. But here's one of the best approaches that you can take if you're dealing with family, friends, and others who are expressing this grief fatigue for your loss. Okay, so the best approach here is to communicate your needs. Let the people around you know that you still need support. And it's okay for you to kind of tell them what you do need. Hey, can you just check in on me once a week? Just a text. I learned last week that a former coaching client of mine lost her cousin. And so I didn't hesitate. I reached out and called her just out of the blue. What do you need? How can I help you? And, that was really helpful for her because, she was feeling probably a little alone. So definitely know that people can't read your mind. They need to know. And so as best possible, try to articulate your needs to them and with trusted family members and friends, okay? Now, the next reason is that people do have this big discomfort with prolonged grief. It's really hard. We're the ones who are directly impacted by the loss, but these folks want their friend back. They want their sibling back. They want their son or daughter back, for lack of a better term. And so they're not comfortable with ongoing grief, especially yours, because they even may want you to just get over it. Oh, that's the worst, right? Like, no, you can't this isn't a light switch. You can't just turn it off. You have to process it, and it's hard. And so this is like a very personal and non-linear experience. And it's not just a straight line, like it's a roller coaster of emotions. So here's the best approach I would advise you on this one is to, find the appropriate grief support, whether that's with family or friends or with a counselor or with a coach, or inside of an online group, maybe a community that can help you. So just finding like-minded people or folks that get what you're dealing with and can help you navigate that. Okay, now the third scenario is that there is an assumption that you're healing. As time is passing by, you must be getting better because it's been a few months. Now, as we know, there is no timeline for grief. And by the way, time is not the driver of your healing, it's a companion. So, the assumption that time heals all wounds is kind of dangerous for folks who are grieving, because time doesn't just heal. It's a combination of time and taking some action. And I'm not talking about taking massive action. It's about taking imperfect action. It's about taking one step further, connecting with other people who can help you navigate this journey, okay? And so one of the best approaches you can take for this scenario is just be open where you are right now. This is where I'm at. I don't care if it's been 4 months. I feel like it's day one, and be honest about that. It's where you're at. No one can make you feel like you're not healing enough, because there is no one right way to navigate grief except for the one way that works for you. Before I finish up, please know that you're not alone on this journey. Grief is so very difficult. We don't have, there's no guidebook, there is no manual. The only thing that we can keep doing is just putting one foot in front of the other as best possible. And every day that you wake up in the morning and you're trying to figure out how you're navigating your grief, you're actually healing. It's hard. It's really hard, and it's unfair that we're here, but you're not alone. If you're struggling and you need some extra guidance, reach out to me and I'll be glad to talk to you about how I may be able to help you find your pathway through and out of your grief. As always, Kathy, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as that is one of the best ways to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for this channel. So let's continue to walk together, and I'll see you in next week's video.